Hello, tea family, and welcome here to celebrate National Hot Tea Day. Today is January 12th, and that is, in fact, National Hot Tea Day. Look at that. We're going to celebrate it on the day, not early, not late, but on time. That'll make sense to a couple of friends of mine who've been celebrating things a little bit late. All right. I wanted to say welcome, everybody. And if this is your first time, we're really excited to have you here. Let me go over just a couple of the things of how we do things. First of all, say hello in the chat or comments, depending on which platform you're watching. And then always I ask people to share what kind of tea that you are drinking, or if you're drinking something else, kind of like what you're drinking as you enjoy. I do have a couple other things that I want to say. Anytime you have a question along the way, go ahead and put it in the chat and the comments. I'm going to try and monitor as much as I can, but I do have a handy dandy assistant over here who will help. Now, additionally, you are going to see that we are a little bit of a different place here, right? And I know we set everything up downstairs, but in case you didn't know, it's pretty stinking cold in the Midwest right now. And our downstairs does not have the benefit of a wood stove. So we moved everything up so I could be nice and toasty warm and not freezing cold downstairs. So again, welcome to National Hot Tea Day. We're super excited to have you here. Ask questions anytime. Say hello. We're going to go ahead and get started and say, well, what is National Tea Day anyway? Well, National Tea Day was originally created, so to speak, to talk about the history, the culture, the traditions all around tea. It really wanted to celebrate kind of the benefits of tea and the varieties of tea, as well as everything else. So that's why National Hot Tea Day was created. Now, we will obviously have to have a cold or an iced tea when it's cold, National Cold Tea Day. But today it's the middle of winter. It's a hot tea day. Anyway, I do want to say that we are going to have some surprises along the way. We're going to definitely have at least one giveaway. We're going to have some questions, and those that answer correctly may even get a prize. Never know, it could happen. So be ready to put your answers in the comments or chat as I ask the questions. So let's start with some tea. I am going to be drinking out of this cup for the very first time. This is a very special cup. It was the gift that my daughter brought me back from Europe when she went over the summer, and she got it in Portugal. So I'm super excited to use it for the very first time. Now, what are we brewing today? Well, anybody want to take a guess and tell me what this is?
Tea.
Okay. Handy dandy assistant. Of course it's tea. Oh, okay. Serene sunrise today. Love it. Love it. Love it. All right. Anybody want to guess in the comments or the chat what kind of tea they think this is? All right. Oh, Stephanie's also doing serene sunrise. So the one day that I don't pick serene sunrise to have in my cup. All right. Any guesses as to what this tea blend is? I won't keep you in suspense much longer. I don't see any answers, but we are doing Winter's Kiss today. It is a blend that is a seasonal blend. It is only available January, February, and into March. It is created to be our Valentine tea. That's a great guess. Boy, Diane and Stephanie are on the same mindset today. They're both thinking ruby chai. Nope. It is definitely a green tea. It has strawberries in it. It has cinnamon in it, and it has rose petals. Gives you kind of a sweet with a little bit of spice in it as an aroma. And so it's super yummy, perfect for this time of the year. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Now, this is a green tea. This uses a Japanese green tea. And this is where we decide if Lisa's going to make a mess or not, which is highly likely. There we go. We boiled our water to about 175. We typically will do a green tea about 175 to 180. And we've got 1 minute on the clock. And so we're going to just, and of course, my phone's not cooperating. But I also wanted to say a quick happy birthday out there to a couple of friends of mine like Miss Domini. It's her birthday today, so I wanted to say happy birthday before I forget. All right.
Mr. Ed.
And Ed's birthday too. Not Mr. Ed from TV, but Mr. Ed C, who my kids know. All right. There we go. So winter's kiss today. I wanted to go with something green. I wanted to go with something Valentine-y and light. I didn't want to do like the heavy tea today. I didn't want to go with the black tea. These also help kind of with my migraine. So I did want to kind of do that. I got my notes here so I don't forget anything later. Okay. So we're talking about National Hot Tea Day. We're going to share some fun things like, do you know? All right, ready for your first guess? I want you to go ahead. Oh, that was just about perfect timing. I want you to tell me, what year do you think tea was first thought to be or said to be invented or discovered? All right, I'll give you a hint. It's BC. So tea has been around for quite some time. Go ahead and we'll see who gets the closest. What year do you think, or is tea said to be, have been discovered or invented?
1296.
It's really not invented because it was more discovered. There was a Chinese emperor, and the story goes that he accidentally had some bark kind of stuff that fell into his water. He drank it, he enjoyed it, and that is said to be how it happened. However, all right, come on. Put it in the chat or the comments. Who has a guess? It doesn't matter if you're accurate or not. We're having fun here, people, for National Hot Tea Day. So what year do you think BC, I gave you that hint, tea was discovered?
Somebody said 1250.
1250 BC. Diane was 1700 BC. Handy Dandy Assistants 1296 BC.
Come on, Amber. You can do it.
All right. Any other guesses? Now I have to do this backwards. All right. I'm going to pop this up. Diane, you were actually the closest. It is said to have been 2737 BC.
Fix.
So
Fix.
You came the closest. Because you have to count BC backwards, which kind of confuses me when you go from regular time to there. So it said around 2737 BC. So tea has been around for a while, and why not have a day to celebrate the deliciousness of hot tea? All right.
Amber said 1300.
1300. That would have been a good guess, Amber. That would have been a good guess. Okay. So tea is definitely within the top 5 beverages consumed around the world. Do you think it is the number 1 consumed beverage, the number 2 consumed beverage, the number 3, the number 4, or the number 5? So you would put 1 in the chat or comments if you think it is the most consumed beverage in the world. 2 if you think it's the second most, 3 if you think it's the third most, 4 if you think it's the fourth most, and 5 if you think it's the 5th most. We're going to do some trivia today. Did I forget to mention that before? Okay, Diane's in first with 2. Diane thinks it's the second most. I've actually said this at a previous time. Handy Dandy Assistant thinks it's the third most. And what else? What are our other guesses? Stephanie, number 1 after water. So Stephanie, you're saying water's number 1, so tea is number 2? Is that, I think that's what you're saying. And then Amber is saying it's number 2 after water. So Amber is also saying it number 2. So you're basically, all but the handy dandy assistant I'm getting are saying it's number 2, and you would be correct. Water is number 1, tea is number 2 beverage consumed around the world. So again, around the world, tea is a universal symbol of comfort, connection, and tradition, which is really fun. In fact, I love hearing the stories about tea. When we go to events, people come up to us all the time and they share a story of a moment with family, with friends, in their lives that centers around tea. It could have to do with their exploration of different teas, things like that. I love hearing those stories because what it constantly reminds me of is no matter how different and diverse we are, there are simple things that we all enjoy. And one is having that moment that I enjoy is having that moment where we can all have a conversation about tea. There's always a story behind it. There's always a story to share. And I love that about tea. I love that about tea rooms where you go in and with a group of friends or your family and you just get to enjoy the different servings, the flavors, the food, the tea, but you also really get to connect with your friends and the people that you're there with. That is one of the best things about tea. Handy dandy assistant, the trivia is not fixed. I just didn't tell you any of the answers ahead of time. Then it would have been fixed. So I love the fact that, and then even in history, there's all these stories in history that you can find. For instance, did you know that green tea was actually originally used as a medicine in ancient China? So if you go to ancient China, there are many people who still to this day use tea as a basis or as medicine in one way or another. That's awesome to me. I guess I do the same thing. I have teas that I drink when I have a cough. I have teas that I drink when I have a migraine. And we still do it. Why? Because it seems to help, but also those are the flavors that I'm looking for in those moments. So it's just one of those really cool things about tea. And since we're chatting about hot tea today, because it is National Hot Tea Day, I wanted to kind of talk about some of those as well. How many people who throw a boomerang also drink tea? Really?
No, how many people who drink tea also throw
boomerangs? How many people who drink tea also throw boomerangs? I don't know, but I'm betting there are more of them in countries where boomerangs are popular than in countries where boomerangs are not popular. That would be my answer to that question. All right. I can't. So that's one of the other really cool things is there are so many tea cultures around the world. There are people enjoying tea around the world at any given moment of the day or night. And I think that's really cool because, you have the very elegant, informal Japanese tea ceremonies. You have the really hearty, robust chais in India, cozy tea times in Great Britain. You have a different set of tea rituals and brewing and everything in China. You have the U.S. traditions behind tea. You have the South that does their sweet tea. There's so many different ways and places where tea is a part of the culture, and tea is always a part of community. There's never a time where you just go drink tea by yourself. In Russia, you have the sweet tea, but you have the big, huge, elaborate pouring kettles, and the name for them is escaping me right now, but then you pour it out and everybody adds their own sugar, and you have some of the Middle Eastern countries where they have it very, very sweet and they brew it and it tastes completely different. Like that is one of the things that unifies us, and it's always different. And that's one of the things that it's fun to think about once in a while is how are we all enjoying the same beverage or beverages together, and how much more alike we are than different sometimes. Okay. All right. So I want you to answer this question. Everybody ready? I'm going to give you a couple of minutes. I want you to think, and you only have to give a first name, but who is your favorite tea drinking buddy? So you're going to sit down and you're going to have some tea. Who's the person you want with you? Now that I get made, just everybody's going, huh, who would I have with me? Who would you have with you? Okay. Now, while you're thinking about that, I'm coming back to the question. I'm going to want to see those comments. So don't think I've forgotten. We're going to come back to them. I do want to talk about some pairings that are a little more unusual to go with our winter's kiss. Oh, Diane wins. No, Diane, thank you. That's so sweet. She picked me. Probably because she's like, if I'm with Lisa, I can get whatever my favorite is at the time, but that's okay. I love it. Thank you. So what would my handy dandy assistant's like, now he has to pick somebody else. Okay. All right, and Diane, and then Stephanie's got church ladies, Lisa, Vicky, Kim, etc. She can go on. This is true. There are a lot of people at our church that do enjoy tea, which is nice. Ooh, Madeline. I don't even know who that is, but that's awesome. See, that's the thing is you think about immediately who you want there, who do you want to have that experience with, and that's the fun part. So, like I said, winter's kiss tea, green tea, strawberries, cinnamon, and the rose petals. Rose petals are not super florally for those, but it's not overly spicy for the others. I just like to smell it a lot. It smells so fresh and clean and light, and it's such a nice thing. But what would I pair this with? You could pair this with a chicken. You could pair this with a fish. You could pair this with a charcuterie board, especially if you had one that was mostly concentrating with a lot of different kinds of cheeses, especially some goat cheeses and crackers and fruits, kind of a thing. Caprese, and a lighter Italian dish, like a light pasta, not anything really, really heavy. But what I will tell you is earlier, we tried some of these cookies. Now, anybody want to guess what country these cookies are from? And hint, it's not the United States. All right. Well, then we have the handy dandy assistant who's definitely trying to go for the bonus points right now. All right. So, anybody want to guess where these cookies came from? There, you can see the crack in my old china. Not Italy. That would have been an awesome guess, Diane. These were not brought to us by Katie. Although what I will tell you is she brought us some, my Christmas gift was this, and it had a small bottle of olive oil that had been like one source in the family for generations. They don't even sell it. I can't buy it and have it shipped to the US or anything. And it tastes nothing like many of the olive oils that we have had here in the States. So these actually come from Germany. They are an iced gingerbread cookie. And so they have, they are delicious if you like gingerbread cookies, but good guess, Amber. This would be very much a small little Japanese kind of looking thing. As you can see, they're an iced gingerbread cookie. However, they also have a licorice flavor to them. There's some licorice flavoring, which, let's be honest, many American palates do not like licorice. Yeah, it's a black licorice taste to it, not the red stuff. My kids would all be fighting over the red stuff, but this was like a black licorice. And what I will tell you is this has that spicy bite to the licorice. It is really good to balance kind of the sweet freshness because you have the heavier, more robust flavor, but you're in with the ginger and other spices, which brings in is going to complement the cinnamon and the green tea and everything like that. So this is a really great option.
Yeah, the name Pfeffernis is pepper.
Yeah. Well, I don't speak German, and my friends that are from Germany are not here right now. Otherwise, I would have more on it. But it actually really it contrasts, and so it complements really well the flavors in a winter's kiss. You could go with like a lemon pepper chicken, and it would kind of have some of the same elements to it. I wouldn't recommend licorice on your chicken, but that's a personal choice. So remember, when you're pairing foods to a tea, you really want to pair foods that are either similar, have some similar notes to them, or they are on almost like the other side. If you think of it like a color chart, remember back in art school and there you had the 3 colors on the color wheel, and then you had the other colors, and colors right next to each other would be one thing, but colors right opposite each other typically go together really well when you're doing art. The same thing can sometimes happen if you think of tea and a food wheel. In fact, a lot of times there's representations like that. It gives you the idea of like what's going to complement, but through contrasting. And that's one of the things. Those German iced gingerbread cookies with the licorice in them, they will absolutely complement this winter's kiss very, very well. But again, if you're going to want to have a meal, if you were going to have this tea and serve it on Valentine's Day, I would be going more towards the pastas, the chickens, the charcuterie board, fruits, vegetables, cheeses, different things like that. Okay, so that's winter's kiss. And all right. I am actually going to be giving away today this, and it is 1 ounce of Afternoon Delight. And then this is a brand new, see, it still has a sticker on it, but this is a brand new glass mug like you see me drink out of. This is perfect for making those lattes. I know Stephanie loves her Onyx Chai lattes. So perfect glass for it. You get to see all the layers. I should probably do a latte next week when I'm doing question and answers. I haven't done one in a while. I'll do like an Onyx Chai latte next week. But I'm going to give this away. So if you would like to answer, I am going to try this out really quickly. Post here. All right, you all should see right there that I posted in the comments or in the chat, depending on which platform you're watching. It got sent out. Do you see it? Okay, so you can reply to that and just say me. Okay, if you want to be entered to win this giveaway that I'm going to give away, I am going to give it until tomorrow, and then tomorrow night I will go live shortly, probably around 6 o'clock, to give it 24 hours. I know I have a few friends that can't, they have other commitments on a Sunday evening, and then they come in and they watch the live afterwards. So I would really like to give this away. I will send it to you, no cost to you. All you'll have to do to win is if I call your name, I'm going to use a random generator to pick somebody's name. If I don't already have your address, I will need that so I can mail it to you or give it to you. All right. So just put me as a reply to the comment and you are good to go.
What if I win? You can just mail it to me.
I'm sorry. If you're married to me, you're not eligible.
Fixed.
No, it would be fixed if you won it.
Fixing away.
Oh my goodness gracious. So it's got 1 ounce of Afternoon Delight. A note on Afternoon Delight, and I'm going to share with you all. We are going to be changing this up a little bit. We were playing with it, and this particular blend is going to get a little extra oomph pretty soon. This is one of our last packages that we have of the original blend, which was very, very popular, but then we think this is even better. We might just do it as a separate tea, but anyway, we wanted to kind of put this out. And so this is what we will be giving away tomorrow, 6 p.m. Central. Keep in mind, I speak in Central Time for those on the East Coast. I do know that hour can get confusing at times.
On the West Coast. Enough.
2 hours difference from in the other direction for Pacific Time, and then 1 hour for Mountain Time the other way. But all right, so that is our giveaway. I wanted to talk about that. Okay, one other thing that I wanted to talk about is a reminder, our live sale will be on the 30th of this month. We're going to have a live tea party sale. Definitely going to have some things. One of the things that we will be having, remember last week I talked about Breakfast Rose. That's a tea that you can only get in some of our samplers. Well, that is going to have some of that you can go ahead and purchase. But we are going to be debuting our brand new caffeine-free blend that will be available for the very first time at the live on the 30th. So I wanted to make mention of that. That is on a Friday night. It is at 7 p.m. Central Time. So those on the East Coast, it's a Friday. So hopefully you can sleep in a little bit late on the Saturday. For those on the West Coast, it won't be too early while you're still working. Try and find that perfect time. But it's on a Friday. We will still have a regular live on that Sunday as well, though. And then next week, I do want to remind everybody, next week, question and answer. So please be sending me your tea-related questions. I know I already have one. We will also be talking a little bit about elderberries next week in elderberry tea and things like that. So that is already something that has been up. And I wanted to make sure I let everybody know about all that. And now I'm going through all my notes and I'm trying to find. I am super excited about the new caffeine-free tea blend. I also have, so the birthday girl, before she moved away, and I were working on a very fun blend. Actually, it was a series of 5 blends, and we're going to call it Joker's Wild. So, or because it is 5 different teas that are very similar with slight differences. That's all I'm going to say for now to tweak your interest, but there will be one thing in the live that is going to be the Joker's Wild, and it's 1 ounce of 5 different teas. These are one-time teas. These are not necessarily going to be available at any other time, but the birthday girl and I had come up with some ideas, and they have finally come to fruition, so we're going to do it then and have it be super special. Okay. Any questions that I'm missing while I'm going through this? I don't see any coming up, but I could be missing them. All right. While I'm giving you that extra second, I do want to lay out a challenge. You know, it's 2025. I know it's not the very first session of 2025, but I do want to lay out a challenge. Between now and ideally next week, but we'll even give you to the live sale on the 30th. I want you to try a new tea. I want you to try a tea that you haven't tried before. And one of the reasons for this is I know it's not going to be a shock to anybody, but I'm a member of a couple of tea clubs on social media. And one of the things that they did was all the members who wanted to could sign up, and you had to exchange some teas. Like you would exchange your favorite tea, and it had to be 2 ounces. And so I have teas coming to me that I've never tried before. And when I go to a tea room, yes, my first cup is typically going to be a breakfast blend or something like that. But then I'm going to go and I'm going to be trying a bunch of different ones. It's easy to get in that same, this is my favorite, this is what I drink every morning. Even with Serene Sunrise with me, which is what I drink probably 90 to 95% of the time. When I step outside and I try something new or I have something new, all the other flavors I eat, everything else I consume, like it gives something different and I can find a new favorite. So breakfast blend was my favorite for years and years. And then we created and I tried Serene Sunrise, right? It became my new favorite. And there are other times where I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so good. Oh, wait, let's add this and try this. Oh my goodness, that's so much better. So don't be afraid to keep trying new and different teas. I just wanted to kind of challenge you all to try something new that you've never tried, whether you've had it and you're like, I got it in the sampler, but I haven't tried it yet. I know a lot of people don't actually do their Advent tins one a day. They kind of do one and then they kind of use it throughout the year to try different flavors and things like that. I just encourage you to always be exploring new teas.
Black tea with bubblegum.
I've never, okay, has anybody ever tried black tea with bubblegum? I don't know that it's a flavor combination that would appeal to me.
It's new.
I
just thought of it.
I don't know that it's ever been done. You're absolutely right. The Handy Dandy Assistant came up with a brand new blend. I'm not sure that we'll be adding it to our lineup at this point. Okay.
Diane will like it.
I don't think Diane will like it. Diane, help me out here. Okay. So we've been celebrating kind of all things tea today and talking about traditions and different things. I want to say thanks for sharing National Hot Tea Day with me. I really enjoy. She said, hush, no. Thanks, Diane. I want to say thanks for joining me. I really enjoy chatting with everybody. I love to be able to give stuff away and ask questions and have fun with everybody. So if you don't have any other questions, I tried to give you some time. Wait, didn't I? Oh no, I did. That you did answer. I really appreciate everybody joining me, and we will see you next week for our question and answer. Have a great and safe week, everybody.